Hi friends, welcome to this channel, and in today's video I will talk about Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. Is 1,400 euro, which Erasmus Scholarship holders are getting every single month during 24 months, is it actually enough to survive in Europe? Because everyone is saying that Europe is so expensive and you need tons of money to survive and live in Europe. I want to also give you some of my tips which I applied as Erasmus Mundus now graduate, and how I was actually able to not only travel, study, but also buy an apartment while I was still Erasmus Mundus student. The average salary in Europe is over 2,000 euro a month. However, in this statistic, there are countries which are very expensive, such as Norway, Switzerland, Luxembourg, where the average salary goes over 4,000 euro a month. And very likely you're going to study during the Erasmus Mundus programs in countries which are slightly more expensive but also way more cheaper. So it depends the cost of living of each country. However, in my opinion, 1,400 euro is enough to live in Europe as Erasmus Mundus student, because your insurance is covered and your tuition fees for the university is covered. So you actually get this 1,400 euro a month to cover your travel costs, accommodations, food and other expenses. There are 4 categories which you should consider if this 1,400 is enough for you, and before you start actually your budgeting. The first one is your total income, and this is actually the amount of savings you have on your account even before going to the program and starting the program. This can be money from your family or from your previous job. This is basically the money you already have. Some students are asking me, Lenka, can I go even if I have €0 on my account? I am usually recommending to save up at least 1,000 euro before going to Europe. However, some programs give you the payment like a month before commencing the studies, so you are able to cover the transportation costs. However, you should have at least a little bit some savings. By the way, if you're applying this year and you need some personal approach, someone who guides you through the process, I also offer personal mentorship throughout the entire process, like reviewing your documents, helping you with the correct mindset, and also to navigate through the entire admission process. Let me know in the comment. I also work on a Fiverr reviewing all your documents like CV, motivation letter, which are the most important one. And let's continue with the next point. You should consider the monthly income you will be getting. Apart from this 1,400 euros, some of you guys are working partially. Most of the programs don't really allow you to work fully, but I know a lot of students are doing some freelancing or some small side projects. So you should consider, apart from this scholarship, to also your incomes which are coming from. Then you will have some fixed expenses and variable expenses. The fixed expenses are usually just accommodation and the food, whenever this actually can be also variable. Usually there are also transportation costs, but they will be quite different because you will be moving from place to place. However, if you're going to start the budgeting already when you get the message that you're accepted and you will be granted the scholarship, I recommend you starting researching the cost of living in each country. I love the website numbea.com, which help you to actually compare 2 different countries and their cost of livings regarding transportation, regarding the accommodation, the average price, and also some the food comparison, like how much you pay per milk in one country and how much you pay for the same amount of milk in country B. So this is a great tool to actually compare the cost of living and help you to start budgeting right away. You need to consider that at the beginning you will be traveling to country, and also the first months expect to have some more expenses, because sometimes you will find a place which is unfurnished, so you need to buy the furniture, or you need to equip, you need to buy also some books for the university. So the first months expect to have more expenses than in the other months. And this will happen at least 3 times because you will be moving from country to another country. I recommend you the budgeting system, which is 50, 30 and 20. 50% of the income, 1,400 euro, goes to all the needs. So let's say this will be accommodation and food. The second 30% goes to all your wants. So if you want to go out with your friends, if you want to go to the gym, and if you just want to spoil yourself with some piece of clothes. And 20% should go for savings. This is a model which People are recommending, if you're already in the job and you're getting every single month your salary, I recommend you to applying this system already right now, because you will have a smoother transition once you're employed or once you're getting some monthly salary. Equally important is tracking your expenses. So now, when you already know more or less how much you will actually spend regarding traveling, you should also at least every single month sit down and track your expenses. I recommend just a simple Excel sheet or some phones apps like Spendy, which will help you to categorize all your spending, and then you will clearly see what is the most expensive to you every single month, and you can actually navigate the budgeting for you better and better. No one is perfect at the beginning, so it's totally possible that the first months you will just spend too much on going out because you didn't realize how expensive it is in comparison to other continents to actually go for a dinner, but then over time you will get better and better. Searching for student discounts and some alternatives. Here in Europe we have a lot of discounts for students. I recommend you to getting iSeek card, which will give you discounts not only for traveling but also on electronics, some culture events and so on. I also recommend you to get Erasmus Student Network card, which will also give you some additional discounts. For example, at the end of my studies I realized that Ryanair is actually giving students who have this Erasmus student card free luggages when you're traveling with Ryanair. Ryanair is probably the most common and cheapest airline here in Europe, so very likely if you're going to move around you will use Ryanair, maybe not only once. So search for some cheaper alternatives. Don't hesitate to get Book, which was already used from previous students. Not only that you will save up some money, but you will also help out the environment a little bit as well. Another option which will save you a good portion of money every single month is cooking at home and meal prepping. Eating out in Europe can get quite expensive, especially in the Western Europe, and therefore I recommend cooking at home and going to eat out only occasionally. Also, you can organize some nice international dinners where you will invite friends from different countries and you will share your cuisine, and this is actually really nice to get to know your classmates better while going for more cheaper option. Limit credit card usage. Credit cards are actually not as common in Europe as they are in the USA. However, I would say in Europe you don't actually need them at all and you don't want to go into any unnecessary debt. So just get a debit card which actually use the money you already have instead of loaning money from someone else. If you're going to get scholarship, then the university will anyway recommend you some bank which you will need to have. In my case, the mother university of the entire program was from the UK, so we had to get the UK account, and I got Revolut, which is amazing app. Actually, if you're traveling, not even as an Erasmus Mundus student, but the Revolut app will allow you to exchange multiple currencies, also do some little investments, and it's very nice and also in tracking your expenses. So I definitely recommend you to getting Revolut if you're coming to Europe. If you're really afraid that 1,400 euro a month is not enough for you, then go and find a part-time job. You can do it whether online or offline. I recommend you guys building your brand online because you will be moving 3 times at least, and therefore it's good to have some sustainable business or sustainable gigs which you can do from anywhere in the world. Whether it's for your home country or if it's for the countries in Europe, I will leave this up to you, but you can have a part-time job which can generate you nice amount of money every single month to spend on whatever you want, whether it's on trips, eating out, or saving up money for future. Me personally, I was teaching languages online while I was studying Erasmus Mundus program, and this has allowed me to actually not even touch some months on the scholarship because I was able to fund myself just from these part-time jobs very well. If you really want to save up some money, then share costs. Very common is that students from Erasmus Mundus are sharing apartments with other students. However, this is not possible everywhere. For instance, in Malta, I shared an apartment with 2 classmates, but in Sweden, this was impossible. This also reflected how much I actually spent on accommodation every month. In Sweden, I paid 500 per room, and in Malta, I paid 330. However, if you're sharing the books, the software, if you're sharing apartment, then this can significantly lower the expenses you have every single month. So now we went through the budgeting and some of the tips. Then it's also important to review your budget regularly. As I mentioned, once in a month, it's perfect. If you can do it more often, then it's even better, because then you can track it even more. Because sometimes it can happen that you don't even remember what you have paid 3 weeks ago. And if you do it every single week, let's say, then it's way easier to track it. If you are able to save some money, in my opinion, you should be able to save at least 100 to 200 euros every single month. Then I recommend you to put it on some saving account where you have fast liquidity and you can buy anything you need very fast, like you can get the money within a day, and you can also get some interest rate, like currently they're about 5 to 6%, which is not excessively a lot, but you can approach this money as fast as you need. If you feel a little bit weak about all this budgeting, because I know it can be overwhelming, and unfortunately the institutions and schools don't teach us really how to handle money, then don't hesitate to ask for financial advices. Maybe at the university there is someone who can help you with, but also you can discuss all the finances with your peers and with your classmates, because they are all getting the same amount of money and they need to survive with this same amount of money. Maybe they have more savings, maybe less. You can exchange some tips, as well as you're going to share apartment and share some other stuff. Then you can also discuss, hey, how do you actually budget this? How much did you spend last month? Can you tell me some tips? Because you guys, if you're going on Erasmus Mundus program, you are going to have the same challenges. You're going to face the same things, basically, like searching accommodation. You're going to be in a new country and you need to figure out which grocery shop has the best quality but also the lowest prices. You will be discussing where is the best gym, what is the gym membership like, and so on. So don't really miss out the opportunity to discuss all those things with your classmates. And last but not least, as you're going through the studies and the end is approaching, don't forget to save up enough money to actually survive maybe the first 3 months, or at least first month after you are not going to get the scholarship, because it's very likely that you're not going to get a job, or maybe you don't have a business which can sustain you financially right away. And sometimes the entire process of getting a job, going through the interviews or setting a business and finding a client can take weeks and months. And therefore it's important that you have built up this emergency fund throughout your studies. I see that some of my classmates really want to stay in Europe after the program, and you can up to 1 year without the necessity to work for a company. So you have basically granted visa for a year after you graduate, and therefore it's really important to be smart with the money, with the budgeting, because once you are not getting this scholarship, then it can be a little bit stressful, and I want you guys to avoid all this unnecessarily stress and to just go through the entire experience with ease and with joy. Let me know your budgeting tips, and whenever you're applying to Erasmus Mundus this year or in the next year, or you're graduated, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.